These days, more and more of us are experiencing the web on phones and tablets. But the mobile web isn't just same old thing, different devices. What we do on the web is changing. In particular, we're using video on the go more and more for entertainment, information, and real-time communication. People love video. It's estimated that within 3 years, more than 80% of traffic on the internet will be video. But video takes bandwidth and doesn't always work the same way across every platform. I'm going to show you how to add video capability to your site and ensure the best experience on any device. So, how do you get video on a web page? How do you do that on mobile? Well, for that we have the video element. And the video element is a thing of simple beauty. Download, decode, and play video in a few lines of code. And because it's just another DOM element, you can do things like change opacity, add CSS filters, and put other elements on top. The video element is supported by over 85% of browsers, including all current browsers on desktop and mobile. It's simple to set a start time and an end time for video playback by adding a fragment to the source URL. This is useful for providing multiple views on the same video and potentially reducing download requirements. Here we're playing the video from 5 to 10 seconds only. Now, to ensure your site can serve segments of video without having to download the whole file, make sure range requests are supported on your web server. Range requests are enabled by default on most servers, but some hosting services may turn them off. You can check with the curl utility. This should return a response that includes an accept ranges bytes header, just like this. Okay, now that simple example is nice, but it only points to one video source. And of course, not all browsers support the same video formats. The good news is that MP4 and WebM cover all modern browsers, including all mobile browsers. Use the source element to enable browsers to choose from multiple available formats. You can specify video sources in order of preference. Here, Chrome chooses the WebM file, Safari chooses the MP4. No server-side detection or JavaScript required. A quick word about video formats. MP4 and WebM are container formats. You can think of these a bit like zip files containing both audio and video components. Most commonly, MP4 stores audio using AAC compression and video using H.264. WebM uses VP8 video and Vorbis audio, or more recently, VP9 and Opus. Now, specifying video types on the source element can really improve performance. Let's take a look at network activity for the current example. You'll see that Safari has to download a little bit of metadata from the WebM file to sniff the format to check if it's supported, which it is not. Now, that requires one more request, a little more processing, a little more latency, which is not good anywhere, particularly on mobile. Adding a type attribute to a source element enables the browser to select a video source without having to download any of the video to check. Let's see how that looks from the Safari Web Inspector. Excellent. As you can see, Safari now only downloads the MP4. Now here's another tip for you, thinking about video types. You need to make sure your server reports the right MIME type. Otherwise, video source type checks won't work. This should be set correctly, but you may want to check. Here you can see from the Chrome DevTools that video WebM was the type returned for a WebM video, just as it should be. Want to know what formats are supported by your browser? Try the video canPlayType method. Now in this example, canPlayType returns an empty string for the nonsense value foo, maybe for video WebM, and probably for the full container codec combination. Want to know which source was actually chosen? Use the current source property. While we're there, let's get the actual height and width of the video using video width and video height. These sizes might be different from the dimensions of the video element as it's displayed on the page, in the same way that images can be displayed larger or smaller than their original size. Notice here that the video dimensions as sized by CSS are different from the original height and width. On the subject of size, a simple point: don't use videos that are too big. Make sure to save videos with a frame size appropriate to the platform. Here's one I got wrong. I saved a video screencast at its original size, 1080 by 1920 pixels. It's enormous, over 5 megabytes in file size and much bigger in frame size than it needs to be for mobile. Now, my first impulse was just to tweak the size of the video element, but that's a bad idea. Much better to save the video close to display size in the first place. Here's the same, 360 by 640 pixels. It looks great, and it's less than a third of the file size. Now, if it makes sense, you can use media queries to choose a different video depending on the viewport dimensions. With a bigger viewport, you get the bigger video. This one's 1280 by 720 pixels. Looks good. On a phone, you get the smaller video. As you can see, this one's 480 by 270 pixels. Also looks good. And again, it's about a third of the file size. Working with display size in CSS, a simple technique for video is to specify a width and a max width. That way you get a preferred size, but the video never overflows its container. Don't specify a height. The browser will work that out automatically. That way you'll keep the right aspect ratio. It's much easier and less error prone than trying to calculate it manually. There are similar techniques available for embedded YouTube videos. Compare the unresponsive sample here with the responsive version. Nice. All done with some pretty simple HTML and CSS. Now, given that mobile usage is growing at an explosive rate, it's crucial to think about how video works differently on mobile devices versus desktop or laptop. In particular, device orientation is not an issue on desktop monitors or laptops, but is hugely important when considering web page design for mobile and tablets. Safari on iPhone does a good job of switching between portrait and landscape orientation. Device orientation on an iPad and Chrome on Android is different because video is played back right in the video element on the page. For example, without any customization, a video playing on an iPad in landscape orientation looks like this. On Android and desktop browsers, you can use the JavaScript Full Screen API. In this example, there's a thumbnail image for each of two videos. You can tap on either to play back full screen, and that's a nice way to include video in a page without the user having to download the video until they want to play it. Thinking about what does and doesn't work, you need to consider your users who have difficulty with vision or hearing, or who speak a different language. Accessibility, it isn't just a feature, and thankfully, it's really easy to make media more accessible by adding a track element. The source of a track element points to a file consisting of timed cues in plain text like this. The format is called WebVTT. Track is now supported by all modern browsers on desktop and mobile, so make the most of it. You can use tracks to add descriptions and captions, and the track element is also great for subtitles. And finally, to give your users a better experience, don't forget the humble poster attribute. The poster attribute points to an image to be displayed in place of a video before it's loaded. Including a poster gives viewers a meaningful idea of content without having to download any video or start playback. Without a poster, nah. And with one, nice. The only downside is that using a poster image incurs an additional file request, which consumes a little bit of bandwidth and requires rendering. So that's it. But there is one more really amazing thing you can do with video on mobile. You can now make video calls using WebRTC. That's real-time communication in the browser. So I can speak to my friend Matt. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Sam.
How's it going? You're in Hawaii? So thanks for watching. If you follow the suggestions here, you'll be able to create and use videos that work well across every device. To find out more, take a look at our guidance on web fundamentals. See you there.